Hi, everybody. How was your weekend? I spent quite a bit of time reading. It's one of my favorite things to do. Today I have on my Raised by Books t-shirt. Sometimes I feel like I was raised by books because of how much I read and how much I learned from them. When I started kindergarten, I read on a fourth grade level. This was probably due to the fact that my mother read to me since I was born. I had lots of time to read when I was a child, too. My grandmother was my babysitter when my mother worked in the mornings. She had no TV and just a small radio. She had a record player, but I only remember one record that she ever played on it. I could go and play with my friends in the afternoon, but I was supposed to stay close to her in the mornings, so I read a lot. There's a game called Desert Island. In this game, you ask someone what their 5 favorite movies are that they would take along if they were stuck on a desert island. Another version is to ask what 5 favorite books they would take along. Whatever the question, it's fun to learn people's preferences and to get to know more about them. In one of the confirmation videos that I've done, I said that the Bible isn't one big book, but it's 66 books in one volume. When the Bible was being put together, it wasn't a matter of trying to find enough books to put in it. It was finding just the right books to put in it. Many more stories about Jesus were written down than we have in our Bible today. The Gospel of John ends this way. There are also many other things that Jesus did. If every one of them were written down, I suppose that the world could not contain the books that would be written. Each of the 4 gospel writers put in their book what they thought was most important for our faith. Some of the stories are very similar. Other stories appear in only 1, 2, or maybe 3 of the gospel stories. You may have watched some of the videos from our Wednesday evening services where members of our congregation share their faith story. Almost all of them start out by saying they didn't think they really had anything to say, or that their story wouldn't make much of a difference to anyone. But once they started to think about it, they all came up with wonderful faith stories. What would you write for your faith story? You're part of my confirmation class, so I know that you have one. I'm asking you to take some time during our absence from class to write out your faith story. When we get back together, I'll ask you to read it for the others in our class. I think you'll be surprised at how Jesus has shown up in your life.